Thanks for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We're transmitting from Abuja. I am Ronke Kolawole. The coalition of progressive political parties has endorsed the candidacy of President Muhammadu Buhari for next month's general election. Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari commends the coalition for its consistency, support, firmness, integrity and steadfastness from 2015 to date. Leader of the coalition group, Bashir Yusuf Ibrahim, noted that the endorsement for the president for his second term is due to the many successes of the administration, including the strikes and the fight against insurgency, efforts to redress the country's huge infrastructural deficit, and the human fight against corruption, among others. He also pledged the coalition's commitment to campaign for the president in different parts of the country, as well as confront fake news with facts and figures, adding that a formal declaration of his support will be made soon. Coalition of progressive political parties include 14 political parties. One of the most potent organizations of the nation's political landscape, the People's Democratic Movement, has formally resolved to support and work assiduously for the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari in the forthcoming presidential election. The group, formed by late General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, made its position known during a solidarity visit to the president. Meanwhile, the Benin monarch, Oba Eware II, wants politicians to exhibit the spirit of sportsmanship, patriotism, and eschew politics of bitterness before, during, and after the general elections. He gave the counsel when President Muhammadu Buhari paid him a visit. Eugenia Undubisi has the report.
While the second expressed delight on the president's visit to Edo State, he told the president that as the head of traditional institution in the state, that he has held series of meetings with stakeholders in the state on the need for politicians not to heat up the polity and avoid any acts capable of truncating the nation's democracy. He added that prayers have been offered to avert any forms of violence in the forthcoming general elections. The Oba commended the president for his support to the development of the state and appealed to him to look into the area of electricity.
And we advise politicians to play politics according to the rules and should not regard politics as a do or die affair. We equally caution them against the use of weapons and use as tools to disrupt the electoral process.
In his remark, President Muhammadu Buhari describes the Oba as an articulate monarch while reassuring his administration's commitment to fight corruption, Boko Haram insurgency, as well as improving other sectors of the economy.
On security, Your Majesty, thank you very much for appreciating the effort we have done, and we believe and we agree with you that much more needs to be done. We will continue to do our best. About the power program, as I said, when we were running from the airport here, the governor, because one of the issues is being emphasized to me. I promise Your Majesty I will look into that.
Earlier, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki told the Oba of Benin that the president is in the palace to show solidarity, while noting the support of the president to the development of various sectors in Edo State, including the construction of the Gelegele seaport. Present at the course visit include National Chairman of APC Adams Oshomole, some state governors of the party, and members of the National Assembly. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Yobe State APC campaign organization has vowed to mobilize the electorate to deliver 1 million votes to President Muhammadu Buhari in February 16 presidential election. This was the consensus reached at the inauguration of a 99-member campaign organization performed by Governor Ibrahim Gaidam with APC National Secretary and Gubernatorial candidate in attendance. The Senate Majority Leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan and other APC stakeholders also attended. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that in 2015, President Buhari secured 400,000 votes in Yobe State.
About 4 weeks away to the presidential election, the All Progressives Congress in Yobe State has concluded strategies designed to ensure landslide victory at the polls for President Muhammadu Buhari, APC Gubernatorial candidate Memula Buni, and all other APC candidates in the upcoming elections. This came to the fore with the inauguration of campaign organization headed by the former Commissioner of Works, Transport and Energy, Lon Shetima Ali, to be assisted by 12 directorates and 98 members. Governor Ibrahim Gaidam tasked the APC campaign organization to operate within the core goals of the party and be guided by the achievements recorded at the federal and state levels. The Yobe State APC Gubernatorial candidate and National Secretary of APC Memula Buni said he will lead a vigorous campaign to all nooks and crannies of the state to ensure victory for President Muhammadu Buhari and all other APC candidates. Director General of the APC campaign organization, Lon Shetima Ali, assured to mobilize electorate across the state to deliver 1 million votes out of the 1.3 million registered voters in the state for President Muhammadu Buhari and other APC candidates. This is a submission that the Senate Majority Leader Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan concurred, adding that Yobe State is home of APC. In Damaturu, Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority has reaffirmed its commitment to providing a level playing ground for all political parties and other stakeholders in the electoral process. Director General of the authority, Malam Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, said this when he received a delegation of the European Union Election Observation Mission Nigeria 2019. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Members of the European Union Election Observation Mission Nigeria 2019 are in Nigeria ahead of the chief observer to discuss with key stakeholders on the need for a peaceful, free and fair elections next month. The team will observe the realities of the electoral process before and during the conduct of the general polls, which begin from February 16. This meeting with the management of the NTA becomes imperative, prompting the delegation's media analyst Interlace to seek to know what the authority has been doing preparatory to the general elections.
As we all understand that media is playing a very important role in electoral process and in covering the campaign and helping voters to make an informed choice on the election day.
Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who briefed the delegation on the elaborate plan for effective and efficient coverage, is optimistic that the coming elections will be free, fair and credible. He assured of the authorities' continued objective reportage of activities of political parties and other electoral stakeholders.
Take a look at our screens, our news, our programs. Every political party that is registered, by INEC to participate in the forthcoming elections is given, adequate coverage. And we do not organize events for political parties. There are political parties that have more events than others. Our responsibility as a media organization is to cover events, not to organize events for political parties.
Conscious of its constitutional responsibility to Nigerians, the Director General reassured Nigerians that the NTA will be fair to all. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Away from political matters, Northern Nigerian youths under the auspices of Joint Action Committee are in Abuja for a two-day youth conference in honor of the late Premier of the Northern region, Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna of Sokoto. Jume Yusuf has that report.
These are are youths from across the 19 northern states. They are in Abuja for a 2-day conference to discuss, plan and implement the theme, entrepreneurship, the panacea for youth economic emancipation. They also want to drum home their roles in nation building in a democratic setting and the impact of democracy and rule of law in Nigeria. They are taking their inspiration from the famous premier of the old northern region, Sir Ahmadu Bello.
To correct that wrong pathway we have gone. We have spiraled as a nation in circles of frustration. It is time we found a tangent of hope for our nation too. Northern Nigeria has vast potentials. We have the potential to feed our nation. We have the potential to rival any nation in the world.
Speakers at the conference will extol the core values and exemplary qualities of the Sardauna, Sir Ahmadu Bello, and his record of performance as a development catalyst of northern Nigeria. Want the youth to tow along that path to restore the glory of the North.
First, if you are looking for incorruptibility, somebody who has never enriched himself corruptly, or someone who has never stolen a kobo from public treasury or public fund, when he had all the opportunity to do so, and yet he remained contented in life.
It was also an opportunity to remind participants of the need to be productive, shun drugs, violence, and work towards peaceful general elections. In Abuja, Jumwa Yusuf, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to vote massively for President Muhammadu Buhari at next month's general election, considering the remarkable progress made in the fight against corruption and the present administration's determination to rid the nation of all forms of corrupt practices. Members of a group, Support Change for Better Nigeria, said this at a town hall meeting in Abuja, where they endorsed President Buhari for a second term. Mitari Ikwen has that report.
That was the reception given to Honorable Adekunle Abdulkabir Akinlade as he led his campaign team to Ijebu North local government area of Ogun State. The campaign train travels the 11 wards of the local government area from Mamu, Enyitiri, Ilapori to Agoiwoye, where the APM gubernatorial candidate promised that if elected, his government will create opportunities for massive job creation and employment for youth, and as well improve the socio-economic well-being of the people of Ogun State.
Our wealth must be for Ogun State people. Our people must benefit from our rivers, our trees, our lands, our natural resources.
At a mega rally, Honorable Akinlade promised to prioritize improved road networks, qualitative healthcare delivery, and affordable education for rural dwellers, empowering local government administrations for all-round development of the state, and as well giving a new lease of life to small and medium-scale businesses to operate will form the blueprint of his government.
Infrastructure is one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, that can touch the lives of everybody.
Earlier, the Director General APM Campaign Committee, Alhaji Sharafaddin Tujinshola, paid a visit to the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, to seek support toward the word-to-word campaign of the political party.
So this visit is to come and solicit for the support and cooperation of NTA as we move ahead in this APM campaign. We strongly believe that the team is not complete without NTA Abeokuta.
He promised that the party will not disappoint the people of the state if elected. In Abeokuta, Mohammed Adebowale, NTA News.
That was Mohammed Adebowale's report on APM governorship campaign in Ogun State. You're still watching Nationwide on the NTA. Let's now go to the Center of Excellence, where Elizabeth Omoroyi is standing by to give us the latest stories from that zone. Hello, Lizzie.
It's nice to see you, Ronke, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. The formulation of economic policies to drive Nigeria's Human Development Index and aid economic growth has been identified as critical to building the gap in the nation's poverty index. Economic players at a forum in Lagos pointed out that economic growth must be measured by improved standard of living of the populace. Abolade Salami tells us more.
The current report by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP shows the Nigerian's Human Development Index rose by 0.53 in 2017 to 2 points in 2018, with life expectancy rising by 8 years. It is against this background that economic experts have gathered here to discuss other methods of measuring indices of human development aside from Human Development Index or economic growth.
And so, for me, it's not about is it economic growth, is it human development? We are clear. What is the role of governance if not to improve the lives of the people?
Experts in their submissions said for the country to develop, we must sustain a double-digit economic growth within the next 10 years and invest more in human capital development.
Because when we talk about human development index or the quality of human life, it requires a great deal of investment.
The aspect of placing economic growth on figures without it reflecting on the lives of the populace, experts have this to say.
Numbers from the Budget Office of the Federation indicate that Nigeria spent 2/3, 66%, on servicing debt in the first half of 2018. Neither Human Development Index nor economic growth figures can guide debt and revenue management.
The program had as its theme Human Development Index versus economic growth, Nigeria's policy options. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy has arrested one suspected pipeline vandal in Ilashe, a riverine community in Lagos. Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Obed Ngalabak, noted that the Navy is on the trail of others in connection with the act. Dotun Ogunyemi tells us more.
The operation began at about 5 a.m. following intelligence by the Navy on vandalism in the area. At the location were hundreds of empty jerrycans, some loaded onto vans, others stocked in houses and stashed under trees. Buried under the sand are oil pipelines transporting premium motor spirit from Atlas Cove to NNPC depot in Mosimi and other locations. The discovery, however, is that vandals have dug the sand and connected valves which link these pipes and hoses, which then supplied privately dug wells and even houses and hotels, from where the fuel is siphoned at their leisure.
They are operating in cliques, in groups. For now, there are about 3 groups. One area belongs to a man called Mr. Shaibu. Other area belongs to a man called Bashir. Where we are now belongs to a man called Mr. Dele. He has his own oil tap head. These jerrycans behind us belong to him. This vehicle behind us also belongs to him and his boys.
The operation led to the arrest of Shuaib Gumola, an hotelier who claimed ignorance of activities of vandals in the area.
Are you aware of that? I'm not aware, sir. You've never heard of it? I've never heard of it.
Rear Admiral Ngalabak disclosed that investigation and manhunt for others perpetrating the act of pipeline vandalism is on by the Navy, and they will be made to face the full wrath of the law. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
Some traditional rulers in Lagos State have underscored the importance of adequate security and provision of logistics during the 2019 general elections. These points were raised at an interactive forum between the monarchs and officials of INEC. Paul Omokago has details.
We are the traditional rulers' chambers here at the Ministry of Local Government Affairs in Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos. The traditional rulers have been able to make their inputs on the expectations on the forthcoming general elections.
They have come for our blessing because they know we are very close to the grassroots, we are the custodians of our community, and we continue to give our best to the INEC.
We all know that Lagos State is a cosmopolitan state, but by the grace of God, we are going to relay this message to the members of our area, the CDA, the Igbos group, the Hausa community, the Kanuris community, and every other tribe.
We have been assured that those lapses will be looked into, and so that we will not experience it as we have had before in the previous election.
They have contributed significantly to key areas in our operations. One particular area where they are very concerned about is the question of security. And of course, you will agree with me that security is very, very key in the conduct of elections. The issue of security is being seriously addressed, and like I assured them, Access will do everything possible to make sure we have a peaceful election in Lagos State. We are taking a lot of their suggestions as input into what we are going to do.
It is back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Paul. It's still nationwide. We will take a break. The news continues shortly.
Speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Women and Youth Presidential Campaign Team. The Southwest Women Zonal Rally for the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Venue, Liberty Stadium, Ibadan. Date, Saturday, 19th January 2019. Time, 9 a.m. In attendance will be wife of the President, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, wife of the Vice President, Her Excellency Mrs. Dolapo Osinbajo, APC National Women Leader, Hajia Salamoto Baiwa Umar Eloma, wives of governors, all APC zonal and women state leaders, all elected APC officials, all APC members, chief host, Her Excellency Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, wife of the Governor Oyo State, and zonal leader Southwest. Announcer, Her Excellency Mrs. Adejoke Adefulore, Vice Chair, South.
Before we came into National Homegrown School Feeding Program, we are only producing 2 bags of flour. Now we are producing up to 40 to 50 bags of food breads to children per day.
Before, we could sell the sachet juice and some of our materials at about 4 trucks per week, 6 trucks. But with Homegrown now, we are going to about 14 trucks per week. Because of the National Homegrown School Feeding, we had to add additional 150 staff in order to cope with the time and then the production capacity.
We really praise the present administration under the General Muhammadu Buhari for creating National Homegrown School Feeding Program.
Kudos to the federal government.
Thank you.
Nigeria, a land of promise, land of potential, rich in oil, arable land and solid minerals. Yet hunger, joblessness, homelessness and poverty are widespread. Over the years, Nigeria has suffered from hospitals without drugs, schools without teachers, and a huge infrastructure deficit. Clearly, we are yet to reach our full potential. And one of the reasons is because people choose bad leaders. Some even sell their conscience for a few thousand naira. For 2019 elections, don't sell your vote. Don't sell your future. Don't buy the people's lives. Vote selling is a crime against yourself. You will spend the next 4 years paying for it. Vote buying is...
Glad to know you're still with us. We told you earlier on that members of a group known as Support Change for Nigeria urging the people to vote massively for President Muhammadu Buhari at next month's general election, considering the remarkable progress made in the fight against corruption and other achievements. Mitare Ikpen now reports.
Nation counts down to the 2019 general elections. More Nigerians are taking their stand and stating their choice for the polls. For members of Support Change for Better Nigeria, the enviable scorecard of the Buhari administration in the fight against corruption, revamping of the economy, and completion of projects abandoned by successive governments are landmark achievements that make President Buhari good enough for a second term.
There is no state you will go in Nigeria, you will not see federal project going on, either completed or ongoing.
President Muhammad Buhari and Professor Yobe State are God sent to Nigeria that we must support their re-election come 2019.
We have to support him and make him another chance to come for 2019.
Members of the group are optimistic that the re-election of President Buhari will guarantee consolidation of ongoing developmental strides while pledging massive mobilization of Nigerians at the grassroots to deliver on their set objective. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Meanwhile, religious and traditional leaders have expressed readiness to contribute to the success of the forthcoming general elections. This is coming on the heels of the risks associated with electoral process in multi-ethnic and multi-religious country like Nigeria. Linda Ogede reports.
Every minute brings Nigeria closer to the 2019 general elections, and all stakeholders are perfecting strategies for successful outings. Religious and traditional rulers whose influence in the society cannot be overemphasized have also met with the slogan, "Reclaim Nigeria, now we get 'em." The forum discussed issues that are of fundamental importance to the citizens.
Let us stop money politics. Let your conscience guide you. Let you be guided by the moral principles of the religion of being truthful, of being transparent, and that elections are not do or die affairs.
Advise our electorates to really vote for people with capability and integrity.
Fair play is the name. Fair play, justice. Ensure that there is justice. Ensure that there is fair play, and we shall have peace in the country.
They advised the National Electoral Commission, INEC, to ensure that rules and regulations governing the process are adhered to by political parties to ensure peaceful, free, fair, and credible elections. Linda Ogede, NTA News.
Returning to the Nigeria's core values is seen as an invaluable springboard for development. This resonated at the 4th Mike Omotosho annual lecture in Abuja, which had professionals from different spheres of life in attendance. Timothy Yusuf was there.
This may be a gathering to unveil the book, Oyo State, a collection of 7 folk tales, authored by Dr. Mike Omotosho. It turned out to be a forum where the 7 core values it illustrates pricked the conscience of many. Integrity, patriotism, discipline, social justice, self-reliance, religious tolerance, and dignity of labor, as encapsulated in the Oyo State, are believed to be what Nigerians need to imbibe in the quest towards building a united country.
If we're able to live by the core values, issues of poverty will be gone, issues of agricultural or food insecurity will be gone. Even kids and millennials will be encouraged to begin to understand that if they live by the core values, then they will solve all of the problems that we have.
Nigeria's former permanent representative to the United Nations, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and other speakers submitted that Nigeria is destined for greatness.
What are the values that make a nation great? Number 1, obedience to the rule of law.
The central message is for Nigerians to shun divisive tendencies and concentrate on the things that unite the country. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Time now to join Pam Dumyam for more reports nationwide. Hello, Pam.
Thanks and welcome to Makurdi. Calm has returned to Abinse in Guma local government area of Benue State, where scores of houses were burnt as a result of communal crisis in the area. Bem Hanya reports that Governor Samuel Otom, who visited the area shortly after the incident, frowned at how the community members who have been living a loud disagreement between two young men degenerated into conflict between the two dominant ethnic groups. Governor Tom, who commended the police command, Operation Wild Stroke and Python Dance for their swift intervention, called for the arrest and prosecution of the perpetrators of the crisis. The Benue State Police Command say it will uphold the tenets of professionalism in the discharge of its duties to ensure peaceful and credible general elections. Elias ETF reports that the Commissioner of Police, Benue State, Omololu Bishi, restated this in a meeting with political parties and other stakeholders in Makurdi.
The 2019 general elections, according to records by security agencies, was characterized by pockets of violence, leading to destruction of lives and property. This meeting with political stakeholders several reasons aimed at reversing the trend. Commissioner of Police, Benue State, Mr. Omololu Bishi, said the command will ensure professional conduct in their duties in line with the directives of the Inspector General of Police. He urged political stakeholders to restrain their followers, avoid hate speech in their campaigns, desist from destroying posters and banners of political opponents in accordance with the peace accord.
Our campaigns be value-based. Let our campaigns follow the manifesto. Let our campaigns be on promises of what we want to deliver, what we want to give to the electorate.
President Electoral Commissioner Benue State, Dr. Nentawe Iwada, says, to ensure credibility and fairness of the process, the Commission has established a single command chain and joint logistic committee. Electoral materials are conveyed to polling units without hitches.
European Union will set up their center for monitoring election in North Central in Benue State.
Representatives of political parties present at the meeting pledged to abide by the rules of the game for a peaceful, credible, and fair elections. In Makurdi, Elias, Itiaf, NTA News.
A cross-section of interested participants have been brainstorming on strategies towards a more holistic solution in tackling the problems of internally displaced persons in the country. This is at a symposium in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, that focuses particularly on the situation in Benue State. And Damien has been there. Damien, tell us what's the situation like at the symposium.
We are here at the J. Stacker Foundation, where a symposium is ongoing on in Benue State. As you can see, participants from a cross-section of the society, and issues on the table include the journey so far, conditions of the internally displaced persons, the condition of women and children, and the efforts of government that has resulted in the rehabilitation of those that have returned to their villages following intensive security operations that has dislodged some militants. Participants are still discussing issues relating to internally displaced persons, which can never be exhausted, and the idea is to have a permanent solution to crises like this. But with me here is the convener of the symposium.
We want all stakeholders, not just in Benue State, but in the entire country, to begin to look at the issues of these IDPs.
There are a couple of other young girls actually had reports and we're dealing with it at different levels that we have reported. I mean, we have actually found that they have been exploited sexually and sometimes physically.
So it is only when government puts in place something that will help them when they go back to their rural areas, that as a government will think of closing the camps.
One of the agreements among participants in this hall is that the federal government has done tremendously well, especially in the wake of Operation Wild Stroke, which has helped many IDPs to go back to their ancestral homes. From me here at the J. Stacker Foundation is back to the studio.
Thanks, Damien. And that does it for the Nationwide from Makurdi Center. It's now back to Abuja for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you, Pam. We hinted you earlier on that one of the most potent organizations on the nation's political landscape, the People's Democratic Movement, has formally resolved to support and work assiduously for the re-election of President Buhari in the forthcoming polls. The group, formed by the late General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, made its position known during a solidarity visit to the president. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that a coalition of progressive political parties also declared support for the candidacy of the Nigerian leader.
The delegation of the People's Democratic Movement, comprising elders, zonal, as well as state chairmen from across Nigeria, was led to the State House by Governor Muhammad Abubakar of Bauchi State.
They have had attempts at joining political parties as a group that did not succeed. For the first time, they have sat and they have resolved that because of the performances of Mr. President, they will, as a group, join in the bid for Mr. President to get a second term of office.
National chairman of the movement, Senator Abubakar Mahdi, said the members are convinced beyond reasonable doubt that President Muhammad Buhari means well for Nigeria and Nigerians.
We have observed with keen interest the giant strides your government has recorded in the areas of infrastructural development, security, fight against corruption. Your commitment to upgrade road networks, railway lines, and improve power supply is highly commendable, sir, and have resolved on the 4th of January 2019 to support your candidature in the forthcoming presidential election coming up on the 16th of February 2019.
Senator Mahdi is, however, worried that public office holders who had access to public treasury have found allies in the nation's legal system, both in the bar and on the bench, and urged the president to remain steadfast and resist attempt by corruption at fighting back. President Muhammad Buhari, who received a copy of the movement's resolution from the founding chairman, Dr. Farouk Abdulaziz, thanked the group for not only identifying with his efforts as sustaining the development of Nigeria, but also his aspirations.
Really, I have been overwhelmed by your steadfastness. I honestly thought there wasn't such a consistent group in this country. I mean, people who would make up their mind based on principles, you know, and stick to it for all these years. God is great. I'm pleased that patriotism is the bottom line as far as we are concerned. We work for our country and our people, and we will continue to do so. I respect all of you for that, because so many of you, by your profession, you can move up and down, you know, and change positions and so on for benefit material or otherwise, but you remain steadfast. This is very respectful, and it has given me a lot of hope in our country and in our elite.
The president also received in audience a coalition of progressive political parties led by Bashir Yusuf on a similar mission. The chairmen and secretaries of 14 political parties that formed the group have endorsed a memorandum of understanding to support and also work for the renewal of President Buhari's mandate next month.
We are here to declare our support for your bid to secure another 4-year term in office in order to complete your 8-year program of rebuilding Nigeria. We have kept faith with you and your administration over this 4-year period because we are satisfied with your performance as president, and because our faith in your leadership and our commitment to your vision for a better Nigeria have only become stronger.
I really appreciate this, and I respect your integrity, your firmness, for being so steadfast in, you know, your belief in one Nigeria, and supporting this administration, and by your own address, for you are sure you have not wasted your time. The support you have given, you think the administration has justified the support you have given by the performers.
The coalition of progressive political parties says its members have already been organized to embark on full-scale campaign at all levels and will leave nothing to chance towards ensuring victory for the president. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Let's take more reports on Nationwide, this time from Ibadan Network Center. Kemi is on the standby. Happy weekend to you, Kemi.
Thank you, Runke. Happy weekend to you too, and welcome to Ibadan. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has called on Nigerians, especially the Yorubas, to support the second-term bid of the APC-led administration in the country. Professor Osinbajo made the call during his door-to-door campaign to the people of Ile-Ife. Adejoke Luyemi's report is here presented.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was warmly welcomed to Ile-Ife, said unity is important for the progress of Yoruba land. Professor Osinbajo explained that the Buhari-led administration is working tirelessly to fight corruption, adding that any country whose leaders are corrupt will not progress. The vice president took his door-to-door campaign to the palace of Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and the new Oguso of Modakeke, Oba Moses Oladejo Oyediran, where Professor Osinbajo promised that the present administration will not let Nigerians down, especially in bringing development to Yoruba land. Yemisi Ajagun, NTA News.
Various achievements of the Buhari-led administration and the need for All Progressives Congress APC to continue with governance are the talking points as the APC campaign train stopped over in Oyo Town and Surulere Ogoluwa Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Lukman Hassan compiled the reports.
Funke Amale in Oyo reports that the APC mega rally was a platform to intimate the public on the successes so far recorded by President Muhammadu Buhari and the need for Nigerians to re-elect him for continuity. Some of the party stalwarts expressed confidence in INEC towards conducting hitch-free elections. Similarly, Taiwo Adeniyi in Ogbomoso said the campaign train of the member representing Surulere Ogoluwa Federal Constituency, Segun Odebumi, called on residents of Oyo State to vote for all APC candidates in the forthcoming general elections.
If you are talking of the federal road from Oyo that link Ilorin, presently they have released funds for the continuity of that road.
They appealed to those who are yet to collect their permanent voter cards to do so and resist any temptation to sell their vote. Lukman Hassan, NTA News.
As the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration records down strides in bridging infrastructural deficit across the country, motorists plying the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have decried gross neglect of roads by past administration and appealed to the federal government to enhance efforts in fixing the roads. Fatai Adieloja is here with an update on the road and reconstruction work on Abeokuta-Songwater Road.
Listed among the 34,000 kilometers of roads across the country for rehabilitation and expansion is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. What has been the cog in the wheel of progress, despite the fact that government is ready to walk the talk.
They've worked on this road for how many years now? For over 16 or even more years. They ought to have done it, even not now.
The work is going very well. The contractor's appointment says no effort is being spared.
The laying of stone base is going on, and in 2 or 3 weeks' time, if you come back to this place, you will see that we are already on asphalt.
Due to public outcry and interest, a lot of futures has been added to this project.
For travelers along Abeokuta-Songwater Road, passing through Ilobo axis had always been like a camel passing through the eye of a needle. This seems now to be a thing of the past.
At least they've been able to pour some stones and some sand there, so it's making us to be able to pass.
From last year, November, they have done almost 1,000 meters of a line drain.
In Ibadan, Fatai Adieloja, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Ibadan. It's back to you, Runke.
Thank you, Kemi. And talking security now, the Defense Space Administration says it has placed a premium on capacity building to enhance research development to enhance national security. The training will shore up on the Defense Space Organization's ability to interpret satellite imagery in real time and deploy space products in the fight against terrorism.
So we can have platforms in the sky that can stay 24 hours and overflying every area of interest. And then we have this training is geared towards producing people that can analyze, interpret, and map these images. Because sometimes what you see from the skies is different from what is really on the ground.
The role of space technology in modern warfare, experts says, is pivotal if the country must make inroads in modern warfare. 60 persons are currently undergoing their intensive training. We now join Chineye in Enugu for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Ronke. Enugu. The Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, says Nigeria's quest for technological development is assured. He was speaking at the closing ceremony of the Science and Technology Innovation Expo 2019 held in Enugu. James Opare-Kocha reports.
The minister commended President Muhammadu Buhari for providing the enabling environment like the law to provide for the establishment of the National Research and Innovation Council, as well as the fund to promote science and technology. The last 5 days saw an exhibition of works of Nigerian research institutes, institutions, individuals, as well as corporate bodies. Visitors at the various stands could not but marvel at the ingenuity of the Nigerian inventors. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu said he was impressed with the level of research and innovations on display.
All the research findings and inventions that have merited these awards will be commercialized.
There were 4 categories in the exhibitions, with each best product going home with 1 million naira. Total of 159 exhibitors presented 397 projects. In the junior category, Government Science and Technical College, Gariki, Area 3, Abuja, came first. In the technological entrepreneurs category, Clark's Pharmaceuticals Company, Enugu, topped with their baby lotion. In the research institutions category, National Space Research and Development Agency came top with their integrated rocket design platform. Nigeria and Soccer won the tertiary institutions category.
Thank God Almighty for giving us the opportunity to come first. We made tiles out of waste plastic.
It has come out to be one of the best since we started the Techno Exposition.
The Enugu State Governor, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Gabriel Aja, commended the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology for bringing the expo to Enugu State. From Enugu, James Opare-Kocha, NTA.
A federal high court sitting in Enugu has refused to grant a prayer brought before it by Deacon Oke Obodo, requesting it to declare him as the duly elected Enugu State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress in the May 19, 2018 Congress held at Gymnasium Hall of the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Enugu. In a judgment delivered by Justice Abdullahi Liman, the court also declined to invalidate the certificate of return issued to Mr. Benue by APC as the state chairman of the party. Jude Abugu has the details.
After days of intrigues and suspense due to continuous rescheduling of the judgment, Justice Abdullahi Liman gave the court's verdict on the suit between Deacon Oke Obodo and 19 others, in which he sought, among other things, an interpretation of Article 31 of the APC's constitution, which states that any member seeking to contest for the party's congress must resign his or her appointment for a waiver in writing through his or her ward chairman. Justice Lima ruled that although Mr. Benue failed to tender a resignation letter of his appointment 30 days prior to the Congress, and also did not apply for waiver in writing, but rather relied on general waiver granted by the party's National Working Committee, he was not eligible to contest for a position in the Congress according to the party's constitution. He, however, stated that his election was in line with the guidelines set by the party for the Congress. This year explained that the party's constitution gave it powers to take decisions which are final and binding on all the members. On whether Dikin Oke Obodo is a member of the APC or not, Justice Liman ruled that the party register tendered by the fourth defendant to prove that the plaintiff lacks the local standing to challenge the Congress was not conclusive and was not certified by any party official. He further stated that Mr. Obodo presented a membership card from 2015. The judgment granted 5 of the plaintiff's reliefs and rejected 5.
The 5 reliefs granted shows clearly that the 4 defendants is not qualified to contest. So other reliefs refused are appealable.
The All Progressive Congress in the state has been caught up in due to the leadership tussle that erupted after its state congress in May 2018. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Anambra State, has declared a 6-day period from 16th to 21st January for permanent voter cards collection in 326 electoral wards across the state. The resident electoral commissioner, who announced this during a meeting with political parties, adds that about 650 ad hoc staff will be deployed for the exercise. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
Down to this year's general elections in Nigeria, various stakeholders are dotting their I's and crossing their T's to ensure that Nigeria records free, fair, and credible polls. One of such efforts is today's meeting organized by Independent National Electoral Commission in Anambra State with various political parties in the states. I have with me the Resident Electoral Commissioner to speak to us more on the essence of the meeting.
Issues, I briefed them on preparations for the 2019 election on our own part, issues around campaign finance tracking, issues around the presentation of party agents.
The Commission also made us understand that they are being faced with some challenges, especially that of non-collection by eligible voters.
We have successfully registered over 600,000 people in Anambra State. And of course, now the onus is on those registered voters to come to INEC to collect their PVCs.
What's of the participants? What do they have to tell us concerning today's meeting? What's your take on today's meeting?
It's a worthwhile event. The importance cannot be overemphasized because it's part of the process leading to the election proper. To a large extent, what he has detailed us has shown a great deal of level of preparedness by the INEC.
Apart from political parties, INEC is also urging other key players in the forthcoming elections to ensure that they play according to the rules. It's back to our studios for continuation of the news. I am Chinyere Fesi Okoye.
And that's our contribution from Enugu. It's back to Ronke in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Chinyere. Stakeholders in the transportation and logistics sector are seeking workable solutions to end the inefficiency in Africa's transportation and logistics sector at the African Union of Transport and Logistics Organization meeting held in Abuja. Members of the organization agreed that African continent is plagued with numerous transportation logistics challenges affecting the performance of the economy.
To have a cooperation and work together to foster trade facilitation and also to work together to ensure safety on all modes of transportation.
We will talk about a lot of things here in Abuja, especially the future for our organization, because Africa needs us to work at it in the transport and logistics.
Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, represented by the Director, Road Transport and Mass Transit Administration in the ministry, said the continent has to get the sector working.
And the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari has noted that, and hence the focus that has been given, the pivotal role that transportation plays in the economic recovery and growth plan of this current government.
Members of the organization is drawn from 14 African countries. We'll now take another commercial break.
Politics democratically affords a level playing field for everyone who carries the will and courage to lead a people in the right direction.
I wish to call on women to go and spread the good news and accomplishment of the present administration.
Women inevitably are the right source to pave this path that can bring good governance, structural stability, rapid economic growth, and basic human rights to all its citizenry. There is no better time than now to experience their prowess in this era, when women all over the world are showing that they have the right tools to build a nation. The Buhari-led administration and APC have aligned with its purpose to involve women with the right vision. The idea is not just for participation, but inclusive participation.
We can exert more power than we would have individually in garnering the majority of registered women and youth voters to vote for the Buhari Osibanjo team come 2019.
This is what change is all about. This is the vision of the All Progressives Congress. This is for a new Nigeria.
The Nigerian broadcast sector is evolving. Operators like cameramen require new skills and techniques to churn out world-class productions. A unique opportunity is open to all. NTA TV College Jos is organizing a 4-week intensive short course in camera operation technique aimed at enhancing the professional skills of cameramen, practicing, and freshers. Date: 4th February to 1st March 2019. Venue: NTA TV College, Rayfield, Jos. Fee: 100,000 naira per participant. Accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please contact 0803 314 4383 or 0806 980 9807. TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
The Candidates, a presidential town hall co-production between Daria Media and NTA, supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Kingsley Mogalu and running mate Omar Getso of the Young Progressive Party, Muhammadu Buhari and running mate Yemi Osinbajo of the All Progressives Congress, Omoyele Sowore and running mate Rabiu Ahmed Rufai of the African Action Congress, Atiku Abubakar and running mate Peter Obi of the People's Democratic Party. Moderator Kadria Ahmed. Next town hall, Wednesday, 23rd January, with Omoyele Sowore and running mate Rabiu Ahmed Rufai of the African Action Congress. Town hall venue, Sheraton Hotel, Abuja, from 7 to 9 p.m. The candidates will be broadcast live on NTA and other partner TV and radio stations, as well as streamed online on NTA and dtv.media. If you're over 18 and want to be part of the audience, apply online at daria.media or use the hashtag NGTheCandidates or participate online using the hashtag NGTheCandidates.
It's on that note we come to the end of Nationwide this beautiful Friday. We thank you for staying with us and we're wishing you the best of this weekend. I am Ronke Kolawole. Thanks for joining us.